Up, up and away. The principal mission systems engineer at Airbus in the UK, Sian Cleaver, is in Dunedin as part of the International Science Festival and spent much of the morning inspiring young minds. Cleaver says she's very impressed with these bottle rockets.
To say the bottle rockets I've seen here today are amazing. They've gone higher than I think I've ever seen. So these kids are incredible. They're all going to be future space engineers, I think.
She says what the kids are doing is actually rocket science, albeit at its most basic. And Cleaver is passionate about spreading the joy of science.
Because we have a real shortage of female engineers, certainly in the UK, and I imagine the same is true over here in New Zealand. And it's really we're missing out on a whole load of untapped talent there if we're excluding the girls. So my mission really is to try and inspire them and, make it known to them that careers in STEM are just as accessible to them as anyone else, and they can do just as well, if not better, than all the boys.
She says her pathway into science began very early in life and hasn't come back down to earth yet. And it wasn't until she entered the workforce that she noticed she was in a minority, one she hopes to correct.
About the age of about 4 or 5, I announced to my parents that I wanted to be an astronaut. We're not quite sure where I got that idea from, but nevertheless, that was what I decided I wanted to be. And my parents always kind of encouraged me, or at least they never discouraged me. When I was interested in astronomy, they got me a little toy telescope, and then I carried that on throughout my whole of my school education, really. It was only much later on, I think, when I entered the workforce that I started to see that I was working in a male-dominated industry. But again, it's never really bothered me. If anything, I think it's kind of worked in my favour in some instances because people always remember you.
Sian Cleaver is due to make a couple of more appearances at the Science Festival. Her talk on space, To Infinity and Beyond, is sold out. But there are still spaces available for a Pizza plus Q&A event. Science Festival organisers say many of this year's events are nearly fully subscribed. In Dunedin, the South Today.